Hi everyone, my name is Brittany Fieser and I am here to tell you about my journey on how I got to deciding the medical field was going to be right for me and why I'm doing my medical assisting degree at Peninsula College. So when I started out, looking for jobs and everything, I applied at the hospital and got into the dietary, which it was awesome. I got to go up and see patients and everything. And so what the dietary was I would do room service and I would go up on every single floor and go into each patient's room and deliver their meals, and it was really awesome. I got to meet a lot of different people, all ages, of course, different sicknesses, and I really got to see the nurses a lot up close and how they interacted with the patients. And I noticed that a lot of them are, well, quite a few of them were burnt out and kind of cranky towards the staff, the other staff that weren't as high up ranking as them, like dietary, or even the patients. There was one time my grandpa was in the hospital up on the second floor, and I went to go deliver his food to him. And they warned me before I went in there saying, oh, this man's, he's really cranky, so be careful when you go in there. And I go in and come out, and they're like talking to me about his behavior and how he's been and so they of course asked me how he was, and I said, yeah, he was fine, that's my grandpa in there. And they kind of just backed off a little bit, like, oh, but it's a small town. You never know who you know working in the hospital. And that was actually one of the questions I had and the struggles I had was, would I be able to handle doing nursing? This is when I started thinking about getting into the medical field, of course, just seeing the patients and working with them, and I loved it. I never, in 2 years working there, had a problem with any of the patients. I had one man tell my supervisor he wanted to put me in his pocket and take me home. We just got along great, and some patients were there for a long time, and they never had family stop by, and I was asked to stay in the room and pray with them before they eat. I even had some people ask if I would eat with them, which I couldn't, but it was just really awesome to be asked that, I guess. I did. I prayed with people or had them held their hand while they prayed, and then I would leave, and it was just fun. It was fun, and it was a great learning experience, and I really enjoyed helping all the patients as much as I could. I couldn't do a whole lot, but I got to see a lot and learn a lot. So yeah, and I then applied for Peninsula College and was doing that and doing my prereqs for the nursing program because I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then after that I went to the specialty clinic in Sequim, and I answered phones and I worked really close with doctors, and that was really fun. But even the nurses there, they were just angry and burnt out, and I know not all of them are like that, but it's got to be exhausting, dealing with everybody's problems, and those go home with you at night. And so I decided I didn't want to do that, and I came home and I talked to my husband, and we got to talking, and we kind of both settled on radiology because that's patient care. It's something that patient care is something that I want to do. Radiology I didn't know anything about, but that's what the schooling was for. My mother-in-law, she did radiology and she really enjoyed it, but she's now a banker, so she didn't stick with it. And I know a lot of radiologists from working in the hospital settings, and they all seem to enjoy their jobs. So I looked into schools, and the closest one to us was Tacoma, and that's a 2-hour commute, 4 hours every day total. My in-laws live in Gig Harbor, so we figured I could stay there. My son could be here with my husband for school, or I could just commute, depending on the weather or my classes, and that was good. we kind of had it figured out, and I was going to do my prereqs at Peninsula College, and I was up until this quarter, actually. And so then, the beginning of this quarter, we found out that I was pregnant. And that kind of put a hold on my commuting school anyways, commuting to school. Because there was no way I was going to travel for 2 years, that's how long the program was, with a newborn and an 8-year-old. So we decided we needed to put a hold on my radiology schooling, but that didn't mean that I was done. I talked to my counselor and I talked to my husband, and we decided that the medical assisting program for the meantime was a good path to go on, because I really didn't want to do nursing. That was just out of the question. I couldn't handle dealing with the deaths and the families of the deceased, and I couldn't do that. I just knew it. It's not so much the blood and all that gets to me. It's it would tear me apart, and I wouldn't be able to go home and just forget about it for the night and then come back. To where, like, radiology, you just go and you take the pictures and then you go home and you can kind of forget about it and then go back to work and do it again. You don't have the lingering problems of them up in the rooms that you're going to be working at all day, every day, and they're there all the time. Some of the patients were there a lot. So anyways, yeah, we decided the medical assisting program. It was still the medical field. It's in the right direction. Well, sort of. It's in the right direction. It's a medical field. And that's something I can handle, and that was a realistic step for me to take. While being pregnant, I can go to school still. I can take online classes. If I do have to go up to the college, it's right here in town. 25-minute drive, not bad. Yeah, and I just feel like, yeah, it's a setback, but life happens, and you gotta either just, I guess, let it defeat you, or you can defeat it, whatever it may be. And so this is how we're doing it. And I know I'm not done. After the medical assisting program, I'll get a job, and I'm hoping to go back to the specialty clinic where I was working doing the medical office assistant, answering phones and scheduling patients, working with the doctors, because I really liked all of the doctors there. Any of them would be wonderful to work for. And the walk-in clinic, of course. Those doctors are awesome as well. But yeah, after a few years of doing that, and baby's grown up and my son's a little older, I think I'll be ready to go back to my radiology path and go to Tacoma. And maybe in the meantime they'll even build a school closer, and I won't have to commute as far. That would be great. So I'm looking forward to the medical assisting program and getting this degree, and then kind of just waiting to see where the rest takes me. So I have a quote from Winston S. Churchill that I really thought was a good clincher for me, and for many people, actually everybody. He says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So, if you can overcome your struggles and obstacles and fears and everything, I think it's worth it. And I think if you put your mind to it, you can really do it. And that's what I plan on doing. Yeah. So, thank you for listening again.